The meeting will please come to order. Good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, November 21st. My name is Truby Congo, President of Wilmington City Council, and on behalf of all of my colleagues, I would like to thank everyone who has joined us here in Council Chambers, as well as those who are with us virtually. At this time, we'll have our opening prayer by Akira Bernardo.
Heavenly Father, we have assembled to handle the affairs of our city. As we do so, we ask for your guidance and understanding. We pray that our city reaches a place of peace and safety. Keep us out of harm's way and bless those who are in authority. Let respect be key in all our endeavors. Amen.
Amen. And now we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For anyone who is planning on giving public comment this evening, for those of you who are with us virtually, there is a Google Form sign-up link in the chat. For anyone who is in council chambers, if you haven't already signed the list, you may still do so. I believe it's being circulated right now. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White,
Present.
Councilwoman Darby, Councilwoman Oliver,
Present.
Councilwoman Harley, Councilwoman Fields,
Present.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Here.
Councilman Johnson,
Here.
Councilman Field,
Here.
Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilman Mills, Councilman Mills,
Present.
Councilman Spadola,
Present.
Councilwoman Bracey,
Present.
President Congo.
Here.
Ten present and 3 absent.
Thank you. Council members Cabrera and Harley have asked to be excused this evening. And now we will have the reading of the minutes from our previous meeting.
November 7th, 2024, City Council met in regular session with remote participation on the above date at 6:30 p.m. President Ernest M. Congo II presiding. The opening prayer was done by Akira Bernardo, Deputy City Clerk. The pledge of...
Mr. President, I'd like to make a correction to the minutes at this time. The wrong ordinance number was inadvertently assigned to agenda number 0495. Let the record reflect the correct ordinance number for agenda 0495 should be ordinance 24-067, which has been corrected and was correctly stated in the distribution of the agenda results in legislation and will be reflected correctly in the minutes.
Is there a second? It's been properly moved and second. The minutes be accepted as written and corrected. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we will have our committee reports.
President and members of Council of the City of Wilmington, November 13th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we, your Finance and Economic Development Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 24-056, entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 44 of the City Code to increase the income threshold for the exemption of caregiver, elderly, or disabled persons from real estate taxation. Have given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Finance and Economic Development Committee: Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Harley, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilman Field, President Congo, and absent with leave, Councilwoman Oliver and Councilman Spadola. Sorry.
Mr. President, I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
November 13th, 2024, we, your Finance and Economic Development Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 24-056 and 57, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Issuance of the City's General Obligation Bond, Adam Street Green Infrastructure Project, Series C of 2024 WPCRF, in order to provide the funds necessary for the installation of 3 bioretention gardens, 1,900 linear feet of stormwater pipe, 16 manholes, and 5 trench drains located in and around the Adam Street courts at 210 North Jackson Street, providing for the sale of the 2024 C bond to the Delaware Water Pollution Control Revolving Fund, and authorizing other necessary action. Have given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, members of Finance and Economic Development Committee: Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Harley, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilman Field, President Congo, and absent with leave, Councilwoman Oliver and Councilman Spadola.
Mr. President, I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we will have our city treasurer's report.
November 21st, 2024. Total investments, $519,423,340.13. Total cash on hand, $17,033,476.65, for a grand total of $536,456,816.78. Respectfully submitted, Dwayne Sims, City Treasurer.
Mr. President, I move the treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. At this time, I will accept the motion to move to accept all non-legislative business.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to accept all non-legislative business. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we will have our recognition resolutions. I believe Councilmember Oliver, you have one.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call Beverly Merriam up, please. Would you like to come up also? Hey. I'd like to say a few words about Ms. Merriam before we get started. Ms. Merriam has been with the City of Wilmington for 42 years.
Wow.
And she officially retired, when was it? September the 27th. I said, wow, people don't even stay on the job for a year nowadays. But congratulations to you. Sponsor, Councilwoman Xanthi Oliver. Whereas it's the Census City Council to honor individuals and organizations who have demonstrated outstanding achievement and deserving of recognition and acknowledgement. Councilwoman Xanthia Oliver would like to recognize Miss Beverly Merrim as such an individual who has been on her job for 42 years. And whereas Beverly accepted a position as a school crossing guard for the city of Wilmington on November the 7th, 1981 to 1987, she became a member of the Park and Enforcement Division and went on to transfer to the administrative, where she was served as administrative clerk until her retirement. Whereas Beverly is a Wilmington native who loves her family, became motivated, and achieved a lot throughout her career. She is a proud mother, a grandmother who enjoys traveling, discovering new restaurants, and spending time near the water side. She maintains a passion for making a difference in lives and patients as a certified nursing assistant. She's a CNA. She's currently working now. You didn't take long at the Lorton, assistant living. Only because I saw you up there, so I should have put it in here. And whereas council commends Beverly on her important achievement, offers sincere gratitude to her many contributions throughout the years. Now there be resolved by the council in the city of Wilmington that this council was pleased to recognize Miss Beverly Merrim for over 40 years of dedicated service to the city of Wilmington. Job well done.
I just first give glory and thanks to God, but I do thanks the city of Wilmington to give me the opportunity at such a young age, I think 18, and I have grown through the city of Wilmington and all the knowledge that it had brought me. So I just thank everyone, and thank you.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes, I just she looked at me. I just want to say congratulations on your retirement. It's well overdue, but I will say, you know, when you see her on the street, you better move your car or it was getting ticketed. And she did not play. And she take nothing from nobody. So to do that job and be out there in the community like that and do your job effectively for as long as you've done it, you should be rewarded. And I just thank you for the service that you've done for the city of Wilmington.
Oh, wow.
From Councilmember Bracy, there is a resolution of recognition for the Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League for on their 25th anniversary. And then as far as sympathy resolutions coming from all council, a sympathy resolution for Margaret Peg T, and from Councilmember Oliver, a sympathy resolution for Charles Kevin Spencer. At this time, we will move to public comment. WITN, do we have anyone virtually who signed up? Oh, okay. I see it. Oh, okay, thank you. So just to be fair, we will go back and forth. For those who are going to give public comment, people who are in chambers, and then we'll go to someone who is virtual. We're going to start with Deacon Earl Tate. Please remember to introduce yourself when you get to the podium. You have 3 minutes. Once you have about 30 seconds left, I will give you a friendly reminder to wrap your comments up. Thank you.
Okay. Greetings. My name is Deacon Earl E. Tate II, who's never late because he don't want to lose his pair of roller skates. I'm gonna say, are you happy now for who's in office? Because the people of the United States of America are not happy because this person that is in office now is trying to rearrange and try to do away with something that we fought so hard for, something that our parents fought so hard for, something that our forefathers fought so hard for, the right to have the option to speak and to vote and everything. But it's time now for us to not take off our gloves, but to put them on and put them on even tighter. And it's time for us to come out here fighting for the right, to hold the right, to speak, to hold the right, to do the things that we are to do, and to hold the rights to discipline our kids the way they should be disciplined and everything. But it's not time for to sit down on your seat or do nothing. But it's time for to take action and get involved with things the way that our parents got involved with things when we was coming up. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our parents fighting for the right, to have the things that we have now. But the kids nowadays, they don't know what is what. So we got to show them. Not only show them, but lead them and guide them. Because if we don't, who will? Who will? Because they have to know. They have to know, and they have to realize that we do have a right. We do have the right to speak. We do have the right to live free. We do have the right to walk around, not like we got chains on us and everything, but to walk around feeling free and
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Free and all. But if we don't stand up and take action, we're gonna fail our kids, and we're gonna fail ourselves. That's like I must say. I say like my poem say.
10 seconds.
He who thinketh negatively has defeated himself before he begun. But he who thinketh positively with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding can claim the victory by faith, and it's all setting forth new goals and climbing higher heights that life holds no limit.
That's your time, sir.
Have a nice Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Darby, who is with us virtually. And next, for our next speaker, we have Caitlin Troller, who is with us virtually.
Hello, thank you.
Hello, thank you for joining us.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Please introduce yourself. You have 3 minutes. Once you have around 30 seconds left, I'll give you a friendly reminder to wrap up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Caitlin Troller. I live in District 7, and I am having some trouble getting a hold of various city offices. So I thought the only other thing to do is to come and talk to city council. My husband and I have been trying to get resident parking permits for years. The online applications are not processed. The voicemails are not returned. And we were kind of ignoring this. However, the corner of West 8th Street and Union Street has 3 bars that are increasingly growing more and more popular. So from Thursday night through Sunday night, it has become almost impossible to park on our street, despite the fact that it is 2-hour parking. The parking's not enforced, but without resident parking passes, we don't want to call and try to get the parking enforced because we would also become ticketed. So I don't know how to make the City of Wilmington parking department answer phone calls or online applications, but it's very frustrating as a resident. In addition to that, the trash can on the corner of West 8th Street and Union Street was removed. I don't know why, but the litter has increased vastly in the past few days since the trash can seems to have been removed. In addition, on weekends from those bars, there's additional broken beer bottles and things on the sidewalk ever since the trash can was removed. And I did try to call City Council about this, but I wasn't even sure if the number on the website was appropriate because the voicemail said you all were closed and would reopen on September 3rd, but it is November, so it was very unclear to me whether or not that is the right phone number to contact you. Thank you.
All right, thank you for bringing that to our attention. We do have your contact information, and someone from the council office will reach out to you, if not this evening, tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Next in council chambers, we have last name Bernhardt. Thank you for joining us. Once you reach the podium, please watch your step and please remember to introduce yourself. You have 3 minutes. Once you have 30 seconds left, I'll give you a friendly reminder.
Good evening. My name is Luke Bernhardt, and I am here in support of Ordinance 0511, oh no, excuse me, 0509, the ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code for the short-term rentals. I'm a member of the Responsible Short-Term Rental Association, and we were here earlier this year in opposition, and we are now here in support. So we wanted to acknowledge Representative Fields, who listened to everybody in the community and made this as fair as possible for all parties involved. So we wanted to thank her for her service to the community and also come out in support of this ordinance. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, virtually, we have Tony Dunn. WITN, is Tony Dunn still with us? All right, thank you.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, thank you for joining us, Mr. Dunn. Please introduce yourself before you make comment. And you had 3 minutes, and once you have 30 seconds remaining, I will give you a friendly reminder.
My name is Tony Dunn. I'm a resident of Wilmington, Delaware, 2nd District. I'm also a member of the 2500 Civic Association of the 2nd District. And I want to thank all council that are present and that are virtual. My concerns is our communities, especially the communities in the city of Wilmington, not just the 2nd District, but all around Wilmington. I see more violence between our youth than ever before in the 2nd District, west side, and mostly on the east side. I'm a little concerned, and I hope that City Council would take into consideration that I've been working and trying very, very hard, especially with the president of the City Council, to do town hall meetings on a regular basis. It is greatly needed that we have town hall meetings and to share with the neighborhoods and the neighbors of the neighborhoods of what needs to be going on in our community for safety and respect for each other. And I hope that City Council will join in with all the city members to make a designated place and time that we can have town hall meetings, not just when violence is in our neighborhoods, not just when election is in our neighborhood, but on a regular basis. And I'm willing to work with any City Council member to make this happen as soon as possible. We need to start educating each other about our neighborhoods. You know, we have already allowed our youth to take out of the neighborhood the reason and the purpose of neighborhood. They now call our neighborhoods the hood. We need to get away from calling our neighborhoods the hood. We are neighborhoods in our communities, and we need to get back to acting like we understand what neighborhoods are apart and are for. We are not educating our youth. As parents, we need to stand up, show our children the ways that we made it to be how we are and who we are. And I'm asking the City Council members now and those that are coming into council to join together and make these town hall meetings happen and be available to all of the city council districts, especially
You have 30
my
seconds.
district. And I thank you all, and I hope that we get together soon to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in council chambers, we have Joseph Walls. Thank you for joining us. Please watch your step and please introduce yourself, and I will give you a 30-second friendly reminder when it's time to wrap up your public comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Joseph Walls. I'm the CEO of Veteran Services. I advocate on behalf of incarcerated veterans, helping them get housing and reentry services upon their release. I want to start off by giving a shout out to Councilwoman Harley. She was on a Zoom Wednesday that I was on, and she spoke out forcefully for housing of elderly and disabled veterans. So we salute you, Councilwoman. The reason I'm here tonight is because I wanted to talk about who is a resident of the city of Wilmington. To be a resident of the city of Wilmington, you have to live here. It's not difficult. You actually have to live here. You have to spend, according to rules and regulations, you have to spend at least half the year in the city of Wilmington. Having property in the city of Wilmington does not make you a resident of the city of Wilmington. It makes you a property owner. There's a difference. If you pay your income taxes to the city of Wilmington, you're a resident of the city of Wilmington. If you live here, you're a resident of the city of Wilmington. The reason this is important is because municipal regulations of the city of Wilmington require you to be a resident of the city for 2 years before you can become mayor of the city of Wilmington. We have a man that is getting ready or won the election who is not a resident of the city of Wilmington. He's been a resident of the mansion in Dover, Woodburn. It's the official residency of the governor. The governor has not been living in the city of Wilmington like you people are, right? You go home every night. You know what's going on in your neighborhoods. You walk around the block. You see what's going on. These are things that candidate Carney does not do in the city of Wilmington. He's off somewhere else. The people on the street, a lot of the crimes that are committed, we don't consider them crimes. We consider them acts of rebellion or resistance. Because we don't believe the law applies equally to the poor and the rich,
You have 30
to
seconds.
the white and the black or the Hispanic. When you're on the streets, you don't care about the law because you don't think the law means anything to the rich and powerful. The law must mean something to everyone. Now, I'm a personal friend of John Carney's. I got nothing against the
You
man.
have 10 seconds.
But the law is the law. I'm asking the council to investigate this matter. And if he's a resident, fine. If not, he cannot be mayor of the city of Wilmington. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Dominique Grant, who is with us virtually. Dominique Grant.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We can hear you.
Thank you for having me. My name is Dominique Grant. I'm a resident of District 3, and I want to speak to oppose the ordinance to amend Chapter 34. As a short-term rental host, I do acknowledge the basis for this ordinance around our community safety and affordability in our city, as well as sharing our part of the tax burden for the city. But I do feel like this ordinance does target a very niche population of the city. The part of the population that's the most similar to everyone in that room. We're residents. We fight the 9 a.m. traffic. We're fighting inflation. we're fighting higher insurance premiums and trying to manage a retirement strategy for ourselves. We are not, big hotel owners or, a large group of the rental properties that are available. There's a very small population of short-term rentals in the city, and I just feel like this adversely impacts that small population. Um, what I would like to add is that when I host a guest in this city, the number one concern that they have is my place in a place that's safe in the city. And I think the reputation for Wilmington is that it is not a safe place, and that we need, physical evidence of, safety and protection. And when we get that with downtown vision and the police force, but the issue of community safety is not around parking and trash. It's really about theft and violence. And if there's any police data that supports short-term rentals driving, public safety concern, I would love to see it. I think that, we are people who are not putting people in a corner of a big building and, letting them stay the night. We are creating experiences, great experiences with theme rooms and wine fridges for people who are coming through the city who are not familiar and they're looking for, a place to stay. And we created a positive experience.
You have 30 seconds.
And with that experience, they come back to Wilmington. So what I like is that you all acknowledge that this is probably too burdensome for us at this time, and maybe we can revisit this in a couple more years. But we really like to, hedge against additional costs for us as business owners. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Liam Schofield. Again, thank you for joining us. Please remember to introduce yourself, and I will give you a 30-second friendly reminder.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Liam Schofield. When I look and I see what's been going on in the city recently, like the issue with the benches at the Friendship House and some other things, what I see as a student of history is an emerging battle between the proletariat and the plutocrat classes. And I think to touch on what Mr. Walls had said, the situation with Carney kind of underlines that. People in this room had a variety of reactions to what he said, and there's a variety of reactions throughout the city. But one thing is that when individuals see that they are under a different set of rules from those that they are entrusting to lead them, that doesn't ever end well. And this city is at a turning point, and I think that the issue with Carney should be investigated to the fullest, and that is a serious issue that's being brought to light, and a lot of people seem to not want to take it seriously. So I would urge everyone in this room, as members of the council who are duly appointed and elected and trusted by their community, to look into that and give it the due diligence, because what's going on in the city right now is very toxic, and history has not proven to be very kind to people who see themselves as the plutocrats and step on everyone else to get what they want. And I don't think anybody wants to see that in this city. Velda Jones Potter's campaign was about unifying people, and what's happened since then in this amount of time is very toxic and torn people apart. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have David Storm.
Hi, my name is David Storm. I live in the 8th District. I am online to talk about my opposition to two different ordinances before council today. First being ordinance 0509. It is regulating, its purpose is to create regulations for short-term rentals. This ordinance actually does nothing to solve the problem of short-term rentals infiltrating this city. Newcastle County has determined that short-term rentals in residential houses violate their zoning and code. Therefore, they are illegal. There is now going to be a spread of these properties within the city of Wilmington. This ordinance allows anyone to own up to 6 properties per LLC that they create. Basically an unlimited number. There is no residence requirement. There is no parking requirements. The only requirement for these people is to pay a 2% tax and a $75 fee with a short online course. Having visited 2 different civic association meetings last week and learning about a violent act in the 8th district revolving a short-term rental that involved multiple police officers and a potential felony assault charge, I please ask that this ordinance be held and be voted down as and not rushed through at the end of a council term. This is something that all civic associations need to have input on and be notified of, not put on the agenda at the last minute. Thank you. The second ordinance that I'm here to speak about is ordinance 0511, the marijuana dispensaries and outlawing them or creating a moratorium. The state of Delaware, when they legalized marijuana, never created any type of incentive for Wilmington to open dispensaries. Wilmington doesn't get any type of tax revenue outside of general sales revenue from these future stores. That just doesn't seem right, since they will have to incur the burden of any law enforcement, any other incidents that may result from these dispensaries, or any, underage usage, things like that. And it
30
just
seconds.
seems that the city of Wilmington is correct to put a pause on allowing marijuana dispensaries until they have an incentive to do so, and can have a best use study done and see how other cities have done them, and put them out with certain, barriers from residential neighborhoods, certain zoning restrictions, etc. I just wanted to state that as well, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you. And our final person who has signed up for public comment this evening is Travis Fogelman. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to introduce yourself. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Travis Fogelman. I'm also a member of the Short-Term Rental Association Delaware. And I wanted to voice my support in Councilwoman Field's ordinance to establish short-term rental regulations. I was here when the first iteration was released, and unfortunately, the first iteration did not really have input from all the stakeholders. There's kind of some hair on fire, like these bad things are happening that weren't really based in facts. And I'm very happy the bill is kind of packed with a lot of stuff, and overall it's very balanced. Just to address some of the previous speakers, concerns about the tax and about issues with parties. The tax is the 2%. It's given back to the city. Like, we're business owners. We're not asking for a free ride. We want to be legitimized. We have a legitimate business. We bring people into the city that become residents. They work for the law firms, the Insight, you name it. We're bringing these people in, and they become permanent residents. Family and friends use our places to have people come and visit, and being a part of a neighborhood and kind of blending in with the neighborhood as a family is what we do. And unfortunately, we have thousands and thousands of people stay with us, but the one incident sticks out in people's minds. And the particular one that was just brought up, the host was on scene immediately. In fact, the police were waiting for a cancellation from Airbnb before they got the people out off the property. And the person that was assaulted actually said that they didn't even blame the host. They blamed Airbnb for not shutting it down. And so we would like to actually take this bill further and make this, it's a work in progress, and I think we can actually make it better. So I wanted to again thank Councilwoman Fields for getting input on both sides of the aisle. I think we can come to a common sense bill that helps us legitimize our business and give back to the community. And you know, these things are going to happen with the regulations or not. We don't want to push it underground. People, you know, need this money, like the other person said, and she's worried about the tax
30 seconds.
affecting her business. But I think if she looked at this bill a little bit further, and maybe we can reach out to her, that you can see this is actually a good thing. And we're looking forward to working with the council in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We do have 2 more people online who want to give public comment. The first is Nicholas.
Am I coming through all right?
Hi, thank you for joining us.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Points and issues with the city tonight. So, by comparison, I do feel like I'm bringing up another trivial issue, but I'm here to what's my opinions on it's 0511 to prohibit retail sale of marijuana in the business. Excuse me, marijuana business in the city. Look, I can't talk to the incentives of it because I know it's actually do go to the state. But when I saw that, I couldn't think but the fact that it's frankly ridiculous. It's based and couched in these backwards and skewed views of marijuana use and what dispensaries are like. Dispensaries, if you go to, say, New Jersey, they almost look like banks. They're very sterile and clinical and very safe places. And I just frankly think it's ridiculous to this inconvenience the residents of the city who choose to partake for, frankly, not much tangible reason. That's all I really have to say with that. I'm here to voice my opinion on that. I know there are other great points there, and glad other people are getting involved. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Next is, last name is Coker. WITN, I'm not sure that's a,
Hi,
is that
I
a
can
real
hear
name?
you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello? Okay, good day, everyone. My comment is on the ordinance of the short-term rentals. And while I agree that I agree with some of the proposed guidelines, for example, with ensuring that you have adequate smoke screens, noise detectors, and things like that. My concern was about the insurance, requiring short-term rental owners to have $1 million commercial insurance. And I was wondering if that wasn't too steep a requirement. And considering that platforms like Airbnb already have what you call air host, which is liability insurance for up to $1 million to cover damages or any liabilities that occur during the stay of a guest. Wouldn't that suffice in terms of additional coverage besides the home insurance that the owner would already have in place? And the other comment I had was regarding the comment of I can't remember his name, the man that brought up the issue of the incident that happened at an Airbnb. I don't think it's really fair to use an isolated incident, an outlier incident of violence that happened in an Airbnb to make it look like Airbnbs attract violence and unwanted behavior, because that happens anyway in the city. And that brings me to the other concern about a lot of drug use that you see in the city. around residential quarters where people are hanging out at street corners and obviously doing drugs, and what the city is going to be doing about that, because those are some of the unsavory events that make guests that visit our Airbnbs feel unsafe when they drive past or they arrive at a short-term rental and see somebody dealing around the corner
You
or
have 30
at
seconds.
the mom and pop shop down the road. And so I would just like the city to look into dealing with that issue of drug use in the city. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. WITN, is that everyone who signed up virtually? All right, thank you. I want to thank everyone who did give us public comment this evening. We want to encourage our residents to continue to either come to our council chambers or to sign up virtually when we have our council meetings, when we have our committee meetings, so that you are able to give us your input. At this time, we are going to move to legislative business. Councilmember Bracy.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present on your behalf.
Resolution 24-060, agenda number 0506. Whereas Section 2-369 of the City Code requires grants awarded by the mayor, city council, or the city treasurer in the amount of $5,000 or more within a fiscal year to be approved by resolution of city council. And whereas
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea or nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. This resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea or nay vote on the question.
Mr. President, as this is your resolution, I'll defer to you for comment.
All right, thank you. So this is just giving us an opportunity to support Cool Shoes, who they have always done an outstanding job in supporting the youth in our city. They have almost reached the threshold of what is allowed, and I do want to give them more funding because they want to have a Christmas toy drive where they want to. His goal is to collect, I think it's 20,000 toys, and that's almost unheard of. But in order for me to do that, I have to get permission from all of council. So that's pretty much what this involves. Any questions? If not, clerk, please call the roll. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilmember Field.
Yes, I just like to say, I commend you for doing this, and I would like to be added as a co-sponsor. He has been doing this for a very long time, and you should see the lines of people that the children that he give to, and those kids are so happy about what they get. And sometimes, at the end, people still coming, but he has no toys to give, and that bothers him the most. I was there last year to see the actual sad faces on these kids, so I'm really happy that you put this ordinance to give him some more money. He needs it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Did you had he reached his goal?
I'm not sure yet. I don't not yet. I'm sure he hasn't yet, but I'm sure he will. He's a very, very determined young man, and he does it with a group of friends and just a group of people who see the passion and what he wants to do. He's not like a nonprofit who gets grants. He's just a guy who just wants to give back. Grew up on the east side, and I'm sure he can still use more help.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Yes, Councilmember Oliver.
Yeah, he does it a lot on my block, so I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no other hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilman Mills?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted. Thank you. Councilmember Darby.
Yes, I have a resolution to present for the third and final calling. reading.
Thank you.
Resolution 24-062, agenda number 0507. Whereas the 2022-2025 Wilmington City Council Strategic Plan prioritizes a prosperous and sustainable Wilmington with active participation in the development of policies and strategies regarding risk management, workers' compensation, and human resources. And whereas in 2022, the Delaware General Assembly passed House Bill 422, an act to amend the charter of the City of Wilmington related to residency, to revise Section 3-304 of Wilmington City Charter to grant the city the authority to determine whether and to what extent its employees are required to be city residents. After much deliberation and public engagement, Substitute 2 to Ordinance Number 23-040, Substitute 2 to Ordinance 23040, an ordinance to amend Chapter 40 of the City Code to establish 22 Delaware Code 841.
Do y'all hear me?
Yes,
I
we
think
can
I'm
hear
going
you.
out.
We can hear you now.
At this time, I move for this resolution to be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that this resolution be recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea and nay vote. Councilmember Darby?
Yes. So this piece of resolution is to adopt the report from our residency task force. So I feel like it's been about a year now at this point. We were having a conversation amongst city council and administration about what residency should look like for when people work for the city. And I don't know if we want to recap the whole story, but there was at a time and point where there was the administration and certain council people who wanted to go along with getting rid of residency, but the community spoke up and we were able to retain it to some capacity for certain city residents for us to maintain and keep residency requirements. But we also understand that there's some challenges around that, right? We know the cost of living is high. We also understand that there has to be incentives. There has to be ways to keep people to engage and wanting to stay here in the city of Wilmington. So this piece of resolution addresses a lot of that. Some key things or main suggestions that were made in the residency task force report was offering reimbursement for moving expenses. So you can get up to $5,000 reimbursement for moves of a minimum of 25 miles and up to $7,500 reimbursement for moves of 75 miles or more. So it's going to help with your expenses to come to the city of Wilmington to be a part of our great neighborhood. It's considered one of the suggestions is to have a portable retirement plan based on an employer contribution rather than years served. It offers flexible remote work arrangements where possible, and it fosters an inclusive work environment with unique benefits like pet insurance, wellness opportunities, and it reinstates discounts and benefits for employees that lapsed due to the pandemic, and increase efforts to ensure that employees are aware of these opportunities, and it developed new discount partnership with local businesses. So this was just a start, a beginning of a conversation of like, how do we, get people to come to our city? How do we get them have incentives to make sure that we're able to really look at our workforce, and how do we build that out? So that was that conversation, and I'm excited for what the residency task force was able to do when we talk about ongoing recruitment and retention policies and strategies.
All right, thank you.
Mr. President.
Councilmember Oliver?
Yes, I've taken the time and I've read this, the task force findings, and it's a very good package. I give credit to the task force. I see the names on here for doing an outstanding job, and whoever wrote this up, the fellow, they did a great job. And I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson?
I'm a co-sponsor on this this piece as well, and I think the one thing going into 109 we have to be sure of, as Councilwoman Darby said, is that there's a lot of initiatives in here, but we can't just shelve it. We have to, frankly, figure out how to move some money and resources around so that we support our employees. I know over the past 4 years we've increased employee salary, both union, non-union, first responder. We've increased salaries, but we got to continue to address that, and then how to again recruit the Gen Z and beyond. Like, how do we get people to want to work for the city? So it's a challenge, but again, I think being a flexible workplace, a place that's fun, a place that their leadership is inspiring, that's part of it. The department heads have to be dynamic to recruit so that people want to work for them. So it's just something we got to work on, and look forward to doing it for Council 109.
Thank you. Councilmember Bracy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to say thank you to council members Darby and Johnson for leading this effort. I, too, had a chance to read through this report, and I think there are some great ideas in there, and I'm looking forward to us continuing the discussion, or me joining the discussion, on how we can implement some of this so that, again, we don't have these task force that spent months and months working on projects and then we don't do anything with them. So, again, thank you for leading this effort.
Thank you. Seeing no other hands raised, I'll return to the sponsor. Any closing comments? Councilmember Darby?
Yeah, my only closing comments, I just want to give a shout out to Kendra. She's on our staff. She put a lot of work into preparing and making sure that our task force had what they needed, getting the report ready with our fellows. So I just want to let us know that we have a great staff who is willing to go above and beyond to making sure that this task force was able to have the report that it had today. So thank you, Kendra. Thank you to our city council staff, and thank you to the residency task force and the community members also who served on this task force to be able to provide and contribute to the suggestions that we have here tonight.
Thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilman Mills?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted. Thank you. Councilmember Oliver?
Yes, Mr. President, I will be holding this agenda 0508 this evening. I had to do a little additional work on it.
Thank you. Councilmember Fields?
Yes, Mr. President. I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24-068, agenda number 0509, an ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code to establish short-term residential rental regulations.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code to establish short-term residential rental regulations.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. Councilmember Fields, do we know when that committee is going to meet?
Yes, that meeting is going to be on December 6th.
Okay, all right.
Second. Oh, I'm sorry. December 2nd.
December 2nd. All right,
Yes.
thank you. Councilmember McCoy?
Yes, Mr. President, due to recently received information about the ordinance, to allow my colleagues the opportunity to review and reflect on it, I will be holding ordinance 24-056.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Johnson?
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present for the third and final reading.
Ordinance 24-057, agenda number 0492, and ordinance authorizing the issuance of the city's general obligation bond, Adam Street Green Infrastructure Project, Series C of 2024 WPCRF, in order to provide the funds necessary for the installation of 3 bioretention gardens, 1,900 linear feet of stormwater pipe, 16 manholes, and 5 trench drains located in and around the Adam Street courts at 210 North Jackson Street, providing for the sale of the 2024 C bond to the Delaware Water Pollution Control Revolving Fund, and authorizing other necessary action.
Mr. President, I move that be noticed enacting clause of ordinance and call for a yea nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea or nay vote on the question.
This is a revenue neutral bond issuance for actual public works project near the Jackson Street basketball courts. Those of you who know that area, this is much needed overdue infrastructure project. Again, these things sound boring, but in terms of the long-term stable growth of the city, making sure our water continues to stay clean and our sewer system, we have to do this work.
Thank you. Seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilman Mills?
Yes.
Councilman Spadola?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 24-063, agenda number 0510, whereas the legalization and regulation of recreational marijuana in the state of Delaware has introduced new challenges as well as new opportunities for the government of the city of Wilmington and its residents. In accordance with the 2022-2025 Wilmington City Council Strategic Plan, goal of promoting a prosperous...
At this time, Mr. President, I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a yea-nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. This resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea or nay vote on the question.
This is a resolution in which I hope I have all of council's support. There's been a lot of discussion. Obviously, there's been a lot of media attention around this matter. And the bottom line is Wilmington needs to be at the table. There's been a lot of misinformation about Wilmington not getting revenue. And it's part true, part of it's not. We obviously, we would get wage tax, head tax, we get that revenue, but we don't get a direct share of the actual state. There's a social impact fund that actually is controlled by the state. Now the benefits can flow down to the city, but it does not go directly to the city. So I believe that needs to be tweaked so that we get a bigger share. As Wilmington, looking at the census tract, our residents are the most hit by the war on drugs. Going back to the 80s, 90s, 2000s, all the brothers, sisters, mothers who we've had incarcerated, who are still some incarcerated in our communities, they've been impacted by this. And I think it's a shame if we don't participate. I know there's, staying on this subject, I would hope marijuana industry is allowed in parts of the city that want it, and parts of the city that don't want it, let them choose they don't want it. But to cut off the whole city, I think is really not in the direction Wilmington needs to grow. Because again, staying with the 108 strategic plan of growing and sustainable Wilmington, we need to be looking at innovation in industry, whether it's Zip Code Wilmington, whether it's Nerded Now, whether it's tech companies, whether it's B&M Meats. We've been working our butts off to get industry here. So this is just a piece of the puzzle. And so this is pushing the General Assembly to say, you know what, Wilmington, you should get a bigger share. So the other towns that have it, they get a share, from the social impact fund. But Wilmington should control it. And we're not asking for a lot, but working with the General Assembly, I hope we can start the conversation now so that in January we can get some tweaks. Because what we are finding is this industry is going to be live in January. It's just a matter of Wilmington and whether Wilmingtonians in Wilmington's government will get a piece of the pie. So, I implore my colleagues to support this. Again, I know there's misinformation about this. There's a lot of, again, about where we're going to put it. That's the question. But at the end of the day, if we do have it here, we need to support getting our revenue share. And as a person that has worked with the administration, working with our finance committee, we owe ourselves to try to do what we can to bring industry and revenue to the city.
Thank you. Councilmember Field.
So, just want to address one of the points. So, the quote, misinformation. I don't know what that's referring to, but the bottom line is there's a 15% tax that is part of the State Marijuana Control Act, and 0% of that goes to the city of Wilmington. And so that's not misinformation, that's a fact. But if the state legislature wants to change the law to make it more favorable to the municipalities around the state, then maybe that's a different conversation. But there is no misinformation. It is widely understood by city residents that 0% of the 15% tax goes to the local municipalities.
Thank you. Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, Mr. President. I would like to stand up on this conversation. I'm going to echo what Councilman Chris Johnson has stated. Majority of Black and brown people are still in jail for marijuana. 3 strikes you're out. I'm not a marijuana smoker, but I have a little common sense. I spoke to three legislators in Dover, and as they said to me, y'all are council members, y'all make the decision. In Philadelphia, at the beginning, they were not getting any taxes off of soda. Now they are getting taxes off of soda because council members came together and passed a ordinance to get money revenue. So it's up to us. There's other ways we can get revenue. Now we could come together. They keep trying to give us some teeth in this fight, but we keep debating and arguing and arguing. I mean, just yesterday, Dave Tiberian, and he said it's okay to share it, his nephew, 34 years old, passed away from generally smoking regular marijuana with some friends, and he overdosed because it was fentanyl in the marijuana. He doesn't do fentanyl, never did pills. It was laced. And we are sitting up here actually not trying to give people a clean place to go. I don't care if it's one dispensary in Wilmington. They'll go buy edibles, anything clean. I was over to Trolley Square for the Halloween party dressed up, and it's a college campus. More kids was out there, and you could talk to Daniel about it, out there smoking their vapes, eating edibles, having fun, laughing. I'm asking what they're doing, asking were they in favor of it, and they were saying, yeah, we have a petition. Chris has a petition with an additional 150 names. So total, we have almost 550 names of individuals around the city of Wilmington, not just in my area, not just all over. And now you got a petition with almost 500, 600 names. And if that's not enough, so we only have a few people that saying, where's the evidence? Where's your petition? No petition. So, 1 minute we're for the people. Oh, it's all about the people. Now we got 600 names, and that's not enough. It's a bunch of crap. So you got people out here dying off of fentanyl, dying off of opium pills. That's the problem. Not marijuana. More people are dying from cancer, smoking cigarettes. More people are having car accidents because of alcohol. And we're sitting up, what does marijuana do? Only thing I hear about it don't make it people giggle and eat. I don't know. But this is ridiculous that we're sitting up here trying to stop a whole city of majority people from smoking marijuana or eating edibles. I've been to 3 different dispensaries. Nobody's standing outside. These are women that's getting medical. So what you want them on pills? Go look on the news. Look at the stats. As a matter of fact, Jenna Bush, I just sent everybody the article. The previous President Bush, she's leaving the TV show so she could be CEO of her cannabis organization. It's money to be made. Most of us then died from it, and now we sitting up here because we don't like the smell. Bull crap. I will be supporting this piece of legislation. Grow up.
Thank you, Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Spadola. 1 second, please. Councilmember, who's that? Mills. or Darby has your hand up.
Can she hear you?
I'm not sure who has their hand up. Councilmember.
I can hear you. Count whoever was going can go. I'm fine.
Okay, Councilmember Spadola.
Back to the actual ordinance, some of the widespread opposition that I've heard about it from various residents across the city. One of the reasons is that the city isn't getting any revenue from it directly. So if the state did allow us to tax it, this would remove that opposition and give us an incentive to do it. So I'm happy to support it.
Thank you. Councilmember Darby, did you have any comments? Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm saying I was just gonna pretty much what Councilmember Spadola was saying. I'm happy to support this. I think it's important as we talk about like equity and making sure all local municipalities have are getting revenue from marijuana sales. And I think it's important for us to continue to have this conversation and not support things that would actually stop us from having these conversations. So I'm in support of this because this continues the conversation about what marijuana dispensaries look like in the city of Wilmington and how we benefit from it. And it doesn't stop the conversation as we have another legislation later tonight for a first and second reading.
Thank you. Councilmember Fields.
Yes, thank you. I applaud Councilman Johnson for sending this resolution down. I think at the last meeting when the commissioner was here, that was my main question for him. Who decides who gets the money? And he says the justice, whatever, JCC something. And he said they go off of a list that they have of people that they send the money to as far as grants. I said, so how do we get the city of Wilmington's name on that list? He said, you have to talk to each one of them. So that is my main concern about the retail stores. How are we benefiting? So this is good. I look forward to supporting this because, you said we're supposed to get something. We need it.
For just as a suggestion for those council members who are going to support this, I am one. It would probably be better, it would look better in Dover to not only support it, but also add your name as a co-sponsor. I know that legislation has been, when it has been passed down to Dover, and because council members didn't co-sponsor it, it was kind of frowned upon. We supported it, but we didn't co-sponsor it. So just to kind of make it even tighter, just so there won't be any excuses not to support this down in Dover. Just suggestion that if you're going to support it, to also be a co-sponsor.
All right, I'll co-sponsor.
I wasn't talking to you. Councilmember Bracy.
Well, that's why I had my hand up. I want to be added as a co-sponsor. This is one of the things that I've been talking about since we've started this whole long journey on what we're going to do is the benefit to the city. And as it stands, there is no benefit. And that needs to change. And so I am very supportive of us petitioning the General Assembly and doing what we need to do to make sure that Wilmington has some skin in the game as it pertains to that 15% tax. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you. So I must acknowledge that the leaders in my district, they're not for this. I've had those conversations. But I will not stand in the way of additional revenue coming into the city because it won't happen. The 6th district, if y'all manage to get it done there, then y'all can, but we need to find revenue for the city. And so if this happens for you, congratulations for us.
Thank you. Councilmember Oliver and then Spadola.
Thank you, Mr.
And then Darby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make one more statement. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor. Secondly, I didn't get a chance to talk about the corner stores. I'm not even going to pull out everything the stuff that's in here, but all the corner stores, we have 5 people going to corner stores. I already talked to Charles Oberly. They're selling marijuana. They're selling drugs out there. They're selling single cigarettes, and nobody's talking about that. But we're sitting up here trying to talk about people against marijuana, and it makes no sense. Go to the corner stores in Trolley Square and see what they're selling, because they're selling single cigarettes over there, because I was over there. Go to any of these corner stores, they're selling all kinds of stuff, especially marijuana, and it's not legal. So what y'all need to be doing, what we need to be doing is working on the corner stores opposed to trying to mess with us. Bye.
Councilmember Spadola, then Councilmember Darby.
Back to the actual ordinance again, I'm happy to co-sponsor it.
Thank you. Councilmember Darby.
Yeah, I would like to be a co-sponsor, and I just also want to add that as we send this to the state, just explaining it to the public, we then need the General Assembly to then create a piece of legislation to then pass it so that we are able to then get revenue for this. And what is so key and important that I've been getting pushback on almost for the whole 4 years I've been on city council is getting a lobbyist. So the administration has a lobbyist. We need a lobbyist. We need someone who's going to go down to Dover and advocate for what city council is saying we want to pass. If not, this resolution is going to pass and it's just going to sit there, right? So that's why it's so key and important for council to support things like a lobbyist for city council so we can get things like this passed. So I just wanted to make sure that people understood that just because it goes down there does not mean it's going to happen. That city council needs to hire somebody to actually go down there and do the work for us. But I've been getting pushback for years on it, on us having a lobbyist to be able to do that type of work for city council. So thank you.
Thank you. I would like to be added as a co-sponsor. Councilmember Field.
Sure. Can I be added as a co-sponsor as well? But so thank you, Councilmember Darby, for the comment about lobbyist. I don't disagree, but in such a small, also I would add that in such a small city and state, we can all be our own lobbyists. And for those council members that feel strongly that retail marijuana is good for Wilmington, then I encourage you to spend some time going down to Dover yourself and lobbying those state legislatures that pushed for this law. And as I understand it, they were told, those state legislatures, that cities around Delaware are going to resist this if you insist that all of the taxes go to the state. And what we have seen is pretty much every single town or municipality in Delaware has said, we don't get anything out of it. Sorry, we don't want it here. From every major town in Sussex, Dover, Ellesmere, Newark is really lucky. It's not going to be very much in Newark. And so I don't disagree with the need for an actual lobbyist in some form, but we are our own lobbyists. And I just quickly called 2 of our 3 state legislatures for Wilmington. And within 1 hour, they were happy to get on the phone with me and talk about it for 20 minutes. And this is 10 days ago. So no, we can all be our own personal lobbyists.
Can we stay to the
Thank you.
ordinance?
Councilmember McCoy.
Oh, I didn't know whether I asked to be added as a co-sponsor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Johnson, do we have anybody in Dover who is going to carry this for us?
We are working on getting a prime sponsor on that.
Okay.
So.
All right. Any other comments before Councilmember White?
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. Before we, Councilmember Fields.
Yes, I just want to add, today I was surprised that I had some constituents that live on 7th Street between West and Tatnall, and they told me that there's a young man that has a store that he actually sells weed. He has he sells weed, he sells edibles, lollipops, whatever you want. He sells it right there on 7th Street in my district, and he has a building. So people are doing it because they say they got a state license. Now, is it true or whatever? The police are looking into it and everything, but he's been working for the last 2 months? So, I just want to put it out there. People are doing what they want to do. You know what I mean? And so we have to regulate it. And in order for us to regulate it, we need to make sure we get money. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Mills.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I would like to be added as a co-sponsor as well, please.
All right, thank you. I'm going to return to the sponsor for final comment.
I appreciate the sentiments of all 12 of my colleagues. This is very important, and honestly, until the conversation started, I credit Councilmember Field for bringing this to light. So that the city doesn't get a larger chunk. I think we see it a little bit differently because I believe the city, we are getting, again, we would get head tax, wage tax from, union jobs and things like that. But we could get a larger portion. And I now see it. And so that's when I started looking at this and how we can shepherd it to Dover. But as Councilmember Darby said, we got to get over the top because even once you get the prime sponsor, there's a lot of sausage making in Dover. So getting it from the actual introduction in committee all the way out of committee, then it can get changed into Senate committee. It's a lot of work. And frankly, we can spend time down there, and as I've been down there, but at the end of the day, we have to be up here in Wilmington. So I think council should have a full-time lobbyist on this. But this is very important because as we look forward to the city, again, we have 35 DIAs, which is disproportionately impacted areas. They're in the city. So our residents are the ones who are meant to benefit from this program. So I look forward, thank you for the support of everyone on council. And we look forward to getting this over the line. It's General Assembly. They're back in session in January. So, there's some runway for us to get this going and pass. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilwoman Darby,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilman Mills,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted. Councilmember Field.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24-069, agenda number 0511. An ordinance to amend Chapter 5 of the City Code to prohibit the operation of retail marijuana businesses in the city of Wilmington, Delaware.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 5 of the City Code to prohibit the operation of retail marijuana businesses in the city of Wilmington, Delaware.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. At this time, we will move to petitions, excuse me, and communication. Councilmember White.
None at this time, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Darby. Councilmember Darby. Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to say happy early birthday to you, and I will see you at your birthday party.
Thank you.
And may I be excused?
Yes. Councilmember Fields.
Yes. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the city council staff, Wilmington City's council staff, for coming and volunteering at the Frontline Trotter Senior Citizen Thanksgiving luncheon at William Hicks today. It was awesome, and I really appreciate all the work that everybody put in. I want to say, and Parks and Recreation. So I want to name them. I want to name them: Carmen Ferguson, Ian Smith, Melody Phillips, Anita Hawks, Vernique Wingfield, Lene Hutt, Lakeisha Clark, Charisma Rizzo, Janiqua Reason, Nicole Torrance, Tisha Stewart, Wayne T. Jefferson Jr., Katrina Dorsey, my daughter Tabria, and then we just had volunteers that just came in. Oh, we had the police department. They came in, 3 of the volunteers. I don't have the names because we gave them to Parks and Rec, but I want to say that the seniors enjoyed it, and they can't wait to come back. So I'm going to say this on record. Whether I'm sitting in this seat or not, we're still going to have it. So, just look forward to next year. And I hope some of my colleagues and former colleagues will join me next year. Oh, I don't have a poem, but just happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you. Councilmember McCoy.
I would like to say thank you to the presentation that was brought to Buyer Square on Tuesday. We finally got a chance to have Parks and Recreation and present a rendering for Canby Park. I do pray that this is not going to be just some doodle, but something we can actually look forward to seeing come to fruition. So I would like to thank Lenny Safran, Jeff Anderson, and most importantly, Ian Smith from Parks and Recreation. Also, I would like to say happy anniversary to my husband. Our first date is tomorrow, will be 28 years.
Happy anniversary. Councilmember Johnson.
I also wanted to follow up on what Councilwoman McCoy said about Buyer Square Neighborhood Association. I couldn't make it to the meeting, but I was glad to hear about the feedback and the great projects our neighbors are doing, especially the disc golf course. Shout out to Brad Owens, who has been working on that. And I'm proud to be a sponsor of that program. And I have not played the course yet, but I look forward to it. It's right in 6th District. So again, it's council people working together. So I'm glad to share and help in the whole city, the whole West Side thrive and have something for the kids to do with disc golf. It's pretty fun.
Thank you, Councilmember Field.
Yeah, a few announcements. So one thing I want to highlight is the Delaware Art Museum has, through January 25th, an amazing world-class exhibit called The Jazz Age, and I encourage everybody to go. It's an international exhibit. It's really good, and it's here in our city. And I guess just happy Thanksgiving to everybody. A lot of people traveling. I hope everybody stays safe, drives safely, and avoids the lines, and just enjoys the time with their family and gives thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilmember Mills.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Spadola.
Nothing tonight, Council President.
Thank you. Councilmember Bracy.
Nothing tonight.
Thank you. Gonna swing back to Councilmember Darby. Councilmember Darby. In closing, I would just like to again thank everyone who joined us this evening, virtually and in council chambers. Please continue to do so. We always welcome you at our committee meetings and also at our council meetings every first and third Thursday. You're always welcome to give public comment. If we can be of any assistance, please call us at 302-576-2140. Again, our number here is 302-576-2140. As Councilmember Oliver mentioned, I am having a birthday party on Saturday, and it's also a donation kind of event. So if anyone has any clothes, if anyone has any canned goods, if anyone has any toys that you can spare and that you want to donate, that you want to bless someone with, you can drop them off here at City Council, and I will just call and I'll make sure that someone comes and gets them. Or if you want to drop them off at 501 West 28th Street, you can do that all day Saturday. Again, you're welcome to come. Everyone here is welcome to come. Everyone who is viewing is welcome to come. But please try to be a blessing to someone during this season. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And with that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Mr. President.